Beware, I hunger.
So, first things first, Luke Cage. I haven't seen all of it yet.
Yeah, you're fired. 2 weeks in a row, you're supposed to watch it.
I did watch some of it. I've seen 3 or 4 episodes of it. I really like what I'm seeing so far.
Yeah, it's good, and now I feel guilty because I'm gonna have to like tiptoe around spoilers and stuff.
That's
So,
fine.
well, let's just kind of talk about, because I don't want to spoil too much. We'll just preface this. There might be minor spoilers, but I'm not going to give away any specifics of like deaths or anything like that, because I don't want to spoil it for you for sure. Because I really enjoyed it. I started yesterday at like episode 5 or 6, and I finished out the rest. Like I binged hard yesterday, well deserved with the overtime I've been working. I'm like I'm binging something today.
I'll end up finishing it this weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah. What have you noticed about it so far that I guess, because I don't know, I didn't know anything about Luke Cage going into it, besides what I saw from Jessica Jones. Tell me what you know about Luke Cage.
There's a few things I've noticed so far. Pops, he's always calling him Power Man,
Yeah.
and that was Luke Cage's like superhero name in the comic books.
That's cool, because later on, somebody calls him something else, and he goes, I prefer Power Man.
Yeah,
So I didn't know that.
yeah. He teamed with Iron Fist, who's got the.
I know they're
the new-
buddies. I know that
Yeah.
eventually they'll become buddies.
Yeah,
He's not in the show.
He
though.
teamed up with Iron Fist a lot in the comic books. That's how they kind of gained popularity together. And the title of the comic was Power Man and Iron Fist.
Oh, cool. Okay. Iron Fist trailer, by the way, looks fantastic.
Yeah,
too.
Iron Fist is going to be good.
I think so.
I think it'll be more comedic than.
That's what
the
I'm
other one.
expecting.
The other thing is when he goes in and helps his landlord, and she's like, "We want to hire you," trying to give him money, like, "We want to hire you," and he says, "I'm not for hire." When Luke Cage had his own book after he split up from Iron Fist, it was Luke Cage, Hero for Hire.
Okay.
So he was kind of like a paid vigilante
Yeah.
in his origins. So it's funny how they acknowledge it kind of that way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Something I noticed, like, I don't know, like I said, movie universes and then sometimes cartoons is pretty much the extent of my knowledge with stuff. But one thing I did notice, because I really liked the Iron Man movies, they said at one time, they said the name Hammer one time, and then later on it's confirmed, like they say Hammer a lot more later when a certain bad guy comes in and he's using technology that helps him get an upper hand on Luke Cage. Because I thought forever, like, this is gonna get boring if nobody can do anything to him.
Yeah. The big thing that starts the whole show going, and from what I've seen so far, is that arms deal that goes bad in the first few episodes. And they were selling Hammer weaponry in that.
Hammer from, if you're like me, Iron Man 2, one of the two, I mean, because it was Whiplash was one of the bad guys, right? Is his name?
And then Justin Hammer.
Right. Hammer was like dealing arms, I think, and he was the one dealing arms with the guys in the first one.
He's kind of what if Tony Stark never gave up, like, weapons trade. It's like,
what if Tony Stark didn't have like conscience?
yeah,
almost?
pretty much. He's the same as Tony Stark, except he doesn't care.
Not quite as brilliant though. Pretty
Right.
close though.
Right. He just doesn't care, but he inherited the company from his dad.
Yeah.
And it's the parallels are there. It's a lot like Bruce Wayne and Hush.
Hush. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very similar there. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I felt bad, speaking of you not seeing all of the show, I was like, oh, Savannah, we'll watch all of this together. And she was watching it and enjoyed it up to like episode 5 or 6. And then she went to work yesterday. Like I said, she left and she said, what are you going to do today? And I'm sitting there in my chair, like in my underwear, watching like episode 6 of Luke Cage, and I said, "You're looking at it." And of course, when she came back, I think I was dressed and showered, but
Still
sitting in the
watching
same
Luke Cage.
chair watching the last episode of Luke Cage. What else have you noticed? I mean, or did you already?
The other thing, I haven't got this far yet, but I noticed in the trailer, when he breaks out of that machine that ended up giving him his powers and abilities,
Yes.
he had the metal thing wrapped around his head, which in the comic book community they call a tiara,
Okay.
because it's stupid
Yeah.
looking. But he wore that almost all throughout his run with Iron Fist when he was Power Man.
See, I
he
remember
like,
seeing.
a
I thought it
yellow-
was a bandana that he wore. Which
well,
would make more sense.
later on.
He wears a bandana.
Later on, he switches to a bandana. But he wore like this yellow button-up, like tracksuit almost. It's in the 70s, you know.
Yeah.
And he had that metal band around his head. Like I said, they called it a tiara. So that was interesting that they kind of threw back to that. And like I said, a lot of comic books, people who read comic books and stuff think that was a poor design choice.
Yeah.
They kind of did a big flip with him from that to wearing leather and having like a grill in his teeth in the 90s, you know, because that was the thing. So to where he is now, he just
Something I like
guy.
about the show, and I mean, I guess I would enjoy it if at some point he had a costume that makes sense. Like, I'll compare it to like Daredevil. Daredevil's costume does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the one he wears in most of the show before he gets his costume makes perfect sense because he's wearing black. He's
Yeah.
out at night, has something to at least cover up his face.
To
And he
disguise
doesn't have to
himself.
see anyways, so he's like, there's no eye holes. What he ends up wearing later makes even more sense because I mean it holsters his stick things
Yeah,
that
his
he
weapon.
has. Also, I think there's a little bit of armor in it. So I mean, it makes sense because that dude gets the hell beat out of him every episode.
Yeah.
Whereas
He's not bulletproof.
Right. Whereas Luke Cage, something I like about this show is that he hasn't worn any sort of. I mean, he does wear yellow, like you kind of said before, but he hasn't worn. He doesn't have his own suit because, as he says, I'm getting real tired of buying new clothes. So
I
he's getting shot.
kind of like the fact that he doesn't have a suit. He doesn't need a suit. They keep incorporating the yellow because that's classic Luke Cage.
It makes sense.
But he doesn't need a suit. He's not hiding. I mean, he is hiding. He's a fugitive from the law, you know.
Yeah.
But he's really still not hiding his identity when he's going out doing this thing. He throws the hood up. And
Well, at one point, here's one spoiler I'll give you. I don't think you're far enough yet because it happens on episode 4 at the end. He saves somebody, and the media is all there, and a bunch of people see him do it. And he's got his hood up. You know, he's been trying to hide. He's like money under the table and
Yeah.
stuff. He finally says, "My name's Luke Cage," and that's when the show really picks up for me. Is episode 4.
that's from the trailer. They have that big scene. Too.
Oh, okay. I don't even remember that, but that's when the show picks up. Is once the story starts playing with him. I'm going to be out here now, and people are going to know my name, and people are going to start talking about me. And they really play with the modern day thing with like, okay, so we're going to incorporate this storyline of kind of like the last Captain America movie, with our superheroes going over their bounds, doing things, and they kind of incorporate that with the police now, and especially with where the whole show takes place. Would you rather be black or would you rather be bulletproof, or what comes first, being black or being bulletproof when the cops are looking for you?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I guess I don't.
Yeah, I don't remember if I said this on our last episode or not, but one thing that really has stuck with me with Luke Cage, I never would have thought of it before, but a black writer was reviewing it. And he said, when you're growing up in Harlem and you're black, the superhero power you would choose if you had a choice would be bulletproof.
Yeah.
And that makes 100% sense to me. That stuck with me, and a lot of social issues in this show. So even in the 3 episodes I've seen, something else Luke says is everyone has a gun and no one has a father.
Yeah.
And that, like I was like, like
There.
I
it
don't
gets
like
deeper.
that doesn't. I know that doesn't affect me really, and a lot of people around here.
Yeah.
But knowing the problems that this country has, and just hearing that, coming out in the media, art imitates life and all that stuff. But just having them say that, I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
I think
Something we don't think about, white in the Middle East, Midwest, in the Middle East.
If we were
we'd be
white in the
dead.
Middle East, yeah,
We'd be dead already.
worse off than this. Now, this show does get pretty modern with the way it looks at things, and I really appreciated it. So this, I'm gonna rate it. I'm not gonna give it a star rating or anything like that, because I don't think I could. I don't know how to do a whole series with a star rating. I don't think it's fair. Some episodes are better than others, But I will say, Daredevil season 2 was my favorite Marvel television show so far. Before I would go Daredevil 2, Daredevil 1, and then Jessica Jones. There wasn't anything else before that, right? I like Jessica Jones, don't get me wrong. But now I'm putting Luke Cage in between 2 and 1 of Daredevil. It was very good. It wasn't the best thing. Like, it wasn't the better than Daredevil season 2 was, because I loved the way they brought in the Punisher and that whole storyline. Did you end up finishing that?
Yeah, I watched that.
I loved that season, and that was one of my favorite TV seasons ever of anything. So I'm gonna. This is me giving Luke Cage a great score and saying, "Hey, it's right under that for me."
I liked Jessica Jones better than Daredevil 1, season 1. So I really like Jessica Jones. David Tennant, an excellent.
Did you like season 2 or 1 better of Daredevil?
I like season 2 better,
2,
for
okay.
sure. That's probably the best Marvel thing that's out there. But like I said, I put Jessica Jones right under it, like real close second place. Like I said, David Tennant, excellent antagonist.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was thinking, have David Tennant as we talked about Lion King casting, like David Tennant as Zazu would be awesome too.
Yeah, I could see that.
But that's neither here or there. But anyway, I'm gonna finish watching Luke Cage. And I think
maybe next week you can get back and tell us what you thought about it. And you guys can join us in the comments or something and let us know what you think about it.
I probably shouldn't ask because it'll be awesome if and when he does say it. But does he at least say "Sweet Christmas" once?
He said "Sweet Christmas" in the first episode, and he says it almost every episode.
Did he? I haven't noticed.
Yeah,
it
he says it almost every episode.
I must have walked out of the room or something.
Yeah, man, he says it a lot. It's his thing.
That's his catchphrase in the comic books too.
I was kind of guessed.
Yeah.
Because of how many times he says it in the show. I can't believe that you haven't heard him say it.
No,
yet,
I guess
if you're that far in.
Yeah, I guess I just must have missed it. But
Yeah, he's a "Sweet Christmas" all the time. In my best Luke Cage voice. Yeah, there's one more thing I'm going to say about the show. This is not quite getting into spoiler territory, but this really reminded me almost of Game of Thrones as far as like how nobody is invincible besides Luke. There are a lot of deaths that I'm like, holy crap! Like that guy, I didn't know that guy was going to die all of a sudden, but they do. I mean,
like second episode, so Pops.
Yeah, Pops
like
wasn't supposed to die till the
second
end,
episode. Yeah.
I didn't even know he was going to die. I just didn't see him dying that early. Because
Yeah.
he was like one of the best characters in those 2 episodes. But his death isn't in vain. I mean, it makes sense as it
He's
goes on.
Luke Cage's Uncle Ben.
Exactly what I was next sentence was going to be. So, check out Luke Cage. We loved it. Tom is loving it.
Loving it. Like the McDonald's we had earlier.
Yeah, we had way too much McDonald's.